Hi, my name's Bryce from Teach Tek, and in this video we're just going to cover the basics of using the Vivi app on our laptops. And what we have here is just the Philips E-line display that has a Vivi receiver natively on the screen. Okay, so there's no box required. So I've opened that app and it's just sitting there ready to go right now. So I'm just going to turn it to my laptop. When I do this, what we can see here is I've got a bunch of rooms now. There's one room that is lit up, so it's white, where the others are all grayed out. So with that, what that's telling me is the one that's white is on the network that I'm connected to right now, and all the grayed out ones aren't. So that's the one I'm able to access. If I click on that one and I click join room, this connects me to the room. So at this point, I can see a bunch of icons here that I can utilize. The screen itself hasn't actually changed on the display because I haven't done anything yet. So my first one, and the one that a lot of people will click on first, is just share screen. So if I were to click on that, what I see here after a couple of seconds is my screen appears. Now with this, I can continue to control the screen with my laptop. So that's just me moving the touchpad here, but I can also use touch. So I can use my hand on the screen. Now that's because this is a touch screen and it has the Vivi receiver app natively on there. All right, so if you have a non-interactive display, obviously touch won't work. If you have a Vivi box and you do have a HDMI and USB plugged into it on an interactive display, then you will be able to use touch. Okay. Now with that, we do obviously have a few features up the top here, so we can stop and pause our display or screen sharing. If we want to do something on the screen we don't want students to see, we can pause that, do what we need to do, and then unpause it and move back on. We have annotation, which will allow us to write over the screen. These screens also have built-in annotation as well, so one or the other, they will both work. We can give control to a student, so that allows them to have some control of the screen and to share their screen as well. We can also go to our home, so if we click on home here, it will just bring up our main app again. So we're still sharing at this point. You can still see we've still got stop. We can still see all our other icons. Now this is an icon that will generally be grayed out unless we're sharing a screen, but you do have a screenshot option as well. So if we can click on that, it's going to take a screenshot of our screen and then it's going to pop back up. Okay, so that option will only appear when we are doing something and sharing with the display, and it'll be grayed out otherwise. So with that now, we can click on stop all. And yes, we want to stop all, and this will just bring us back off the display and to our laptop. Now the next icon that we see when we go along is play video. So if I'm to click on play video, what you get here is just a screen that allows us to either copy files onto here or add website links. So I've got a website link just here, which is just for a YouTube video. The great thing about this playing a video through here is that it will remove the ads. So you can have a whole variety of videos lined up in a bit of a queue, and it will go through that playlist and it will remove the ads on each of the videos as well. So there's no need for YouTube Premium or anything like that. Ads are removed natively. Now, if we go along and we click on play link here, this will push this video to the display. So my laptop is no longer having to do anything. All right, so I'm free to use my laptop as I see fit to sort of do some work if I needed to. And in the meantime, the display itself will play the video. So this is playing through the display. The Vivi receiver app gets that website URL, will open it up and then play it. All right, which allows me to be free to use my laptop without having to worry. If I have the Vivi app open, I can still see and still control stopping, pausing, or skipping through the video. I can see how it's progressing in the time bar and stuff as well. So I've still got a lot of control from the Vivi app, even though the display itself is actually playing the video. If I click on pause straight away here, it will pause just fine, okay? And then I can stop this one. I can adjust the volume as well. So there's a little volume tab down here. I can also check my playlist and I can check where it's queued and what's coming up. I can save this playlist, so if I have a whole bunch of videos that I regularly use, then I can save this playlist and then reload it as I need to, and then play it through. Okay. For now, what we're going to do is just stop this video, which is going to bring us back to our home page on the screen here, and then we're also just going to go back to our set of icons. So the third one along in this series is whiteboard. if I click on that, it brings up a whiteboard, and initially it'll only bring it up on my laptop. Okay, so if I want to share this to the screen, I have to go to this top right hand corner and I click present my screen, and then it'll appear on the board behind me. Now, I do have some options here. They're down in the bottom left, so I can change and get a highlighter, I can get some shapes drawn, I can write some text, I can erase, etc. So if I've just got it on my pen, I can continue to draw just on the screen here using my mouse. Okay, I can draw a bit of a funny shape, and I can also, being an interactive display, I can actually draw on the screen here as well. So I can, if I needed to, just draw directly onto the screen without having to use my laptop. Again, if I wanted to pause this or stop this, I can actually stop this here. And what this does is it stops displaying on our main display here, but it actually stays on my laptop. So if there's things that I want to continue to create or do more of on my laptop and they don't need to see this in the class, then I can just stop that. I can continue to work on it as I need to, and then I can present it again when I'm ready to. We can delete this screen here, and then we can also just go back and we can head back to our icons at this point. Now, if I click over this give student control, this is a little bit of a tricky one to demonstrate just myself being connected to this. If you had other students connected to this room, you'll be able to see them in a list here where it says students in room. You'll be able to see if they've requested control through their app, and you'll be able to give them control as well. So this allows them to share their screen. They do require a login, and they will have a student login that's created for them, which means that they're only allowed to connect to this device and share to this device if they are actually given control. Okay, so they can freely connect to the room and be there in the room with you, all right, but they can't actually do anything until you give them the opportunity to. Cool, awesome. So we head back now. We head on over to our fifth icon on the top row here, so our last one, and we have clocks and timers. So what I might do is just quickly set a timer up here, and we'll just say 1 minute just for the sake of it. If we click here and click display timer, what you can see on the screen, it comes up with our big countdown timer. Okay, so anything we choose through here, any options we pick through here will just be pushed out to our screen, and it will start to count down. So what I might do is pause this timer for now. We can just click pause here. Stays up on the screen, we just pause the timer. If I click stop, then it will close off and we'll go back to our home page. Okay. So there are stopwatches here. There's clocks we can push out as well, so we can just display a general clock just on the screen. We can have stopwatches, as I said, or timers. There's a few options. Now, if we're heading back to our main icons, we have the option here to message class. So no one's in the class right now, but if they were, I can click type message and I'll just write hello. And at that point, if I said send message, it will share it with the whole class. So nothing happens on the display because it's not display related, but what you would see is if there's any students that are connected to this room, all right, they'll have a pop-up that says your message. So if you needed to get a message across to the class and you wanted to do it in a quiet way, you can just write a message in here, click send message, and they'll all see it on their devices. Okay. So what we'll do from there, we can clear that message now, and then we can exit, and we scoot onto our next icon, which is assessment. Now, with assessment, the way this works is if you have some questions or a question up on the display, and then you want to ask the students to answer that question, all right, you can create a little assessment piece that allows them to answer it, and then you get instant feedback of how they've done and what they've chosen. So if you put a question up on the display, and then you set up a quick question here, we'll go with multiple choice alphabetical with 4 answers because that's how many I had. And we'll say the answer is going to be BB. I click start assessment. This will push that assessment out to all the students who are in the room and connected, and then they can answer that question and I can see whether they've got it right or not. Again, this works by having a question they can see on the display first, and then you have to push that out, okay? Because they won't see the question itself, they will just see the opportunity to answer A, B, C, or D, or a numerical answer or a short short word answer, depending on how you set it all up. So I can have this display in various ways. So I can have pie charts, I can have bar charts, and I can see where the students are answering and which way they're answering, and get a bit of an idea of maybe how they're going in a topic that I'm teaching by having a quick couple of questions towards them, so I can get a gauge of whether they're grasping it or not. So I'm going to click Stop Assessment here, and that will stop my assessment, and then I'm going to go back to that main page. Our next one along here is called polls, and this is really handy. It's really important as we move towards the well-being of our students and really gauge the well-being of our students as much as possible. This is a simple way for a teacher to gauge a whole classroom in a quick and easy way. So when we do this, what we do, there's a feedback template here, so there's a bunch of templates here, but you can ask a quick one. It's just, how do you feel today? It's a really simple question to ask. We're going to give it a 1 minute time limit. Now what we notice on the right hand side, not only do we see the question, which is how do we feel today, but we see a bunch of emojis which give us students a way to answer without having to necessarily understand the words themselves, or they can look at them. It's a little bit of a simpler way for them to grasp how their emotions may be feeling, and pick one of these. So if I click Start Poll there, what would happen is that would get pushed out to all the students in the room. They'll all see it on their devices, and they'll have the opportunity to respond. All right, they will instantly come back through, and you'll start to see a list of participants and their answers. Natively, it will block their names, so you won't actually be able to see individual students' names initially, which may be the way you want to do it. If you just want to get a gauge of how your class is doing in something, or if you want to get a gauge of how they're doing overall, it's sometimes easier just to leave it without being identifiable. But if there's any particular concern that you see from that, you can obviously show their names, and you can pick out that student and maybe give them a hand or discuss with them some results that that look maybe troubling. But yeah, that will populate. Again, we've got the option to go by pie charts, bar charts, as well as details, so we can see all that information. So if I stop that poll and I just head back to, and I head back here, the last one along here is wellness. Now, again, this ties in really well to our polls. Student wellbeing is a really important part of education, and it's becoming more important for a good reason. What we have here is a whole bunch of videos that have been created with Headspace, and there are various guided meditations, I should say, and breathing exercises that you can push out. So a lot of teachers already have videos they will go to. This gives you a whole bunch of options that are built into the app for you that you can just click on. And when you click on one of these, just say we click on 1 minute of breathing, what will happen is it will be pushed out natively to the display. So just like with YouTube and the way we go about it there, where you play the video in the list and it will push it out, and the display itself will actually open the video. It's the exact same process. So your laptop is free to continue on preparing for the lessons that are coming up, or anything you need to do on your laptop, and this will just push the video out, and at that point they can watch the video and the class can either do a breathing exercise, meditation, whatever it is you're playing. So this has that same process where in the app you've got stop and pause, and you can see the progress of the video, you can change the volume, etc. So I'm just going to stop that video there, and then we can head back. Okay, so that's our Vivi app, and that's each of those icons and what we can do with it. It's a really basic rundown, and it does require a little bit of a play and really find out what works for you and what works for your students. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you found it helpful.